So making sure that you set each part equal to x and then kind of working backwards so then you can go from there. Right? So but if it has a fraction, multiply it first and then add or subtract whatever you have. So like on 15, I would leave the negative with the 2, multiply it by 5, and then add the 2 over, and then have the 5x plus 2, so then you have a part to multiply. Okay, so then you're not dealing with any sort of fractions. So whenever we deal with 17, okay, now I purposely did this to where you didn't have one, so I really wanted you to attempt it to kind of see what you would do. Because yesterday, what did we do? We basically blacked that out and said go. Okay? You still do everything the same way. So if we set it up as if x is equal to 2 minus the square root of 3, if we have a square root, what also is x equal to? Plus the square root of 3. Okay, so I'm still going to have 2 plus the square root of 3, and I'm still going to have x equal to 3. So then, if I want to get everything over to one side to where it's equal to 0, so then I'm going to bring, let's just go ahead and do the easy one. Let's bring the 3 over. So I'm going to have x minus 3 equal to 0. If I bring everything over here to the other side, then I have x minus 2 minus the square root of 3 equal to 0. If I bring everything over here to the left side, then I'm going to have x minus 2 plus the square root of 3 equal to 0. So now that everything's set equal to 0, all of these, I'm just going to put parentheses around them, and I'm going to multiply them together. Now, which two would be the smart ones to multiply together first? The ones with the square root, right? Okay. So I'm going to save the x minus 3 for last. Okay. So what I would suggest is anything with a 3 by 3, I'm not afraid to put it in a table and go from there. Okay, I think it makes things a lot easier. So then I'm going to have an x, I'm going to have a negative 2, and I'm going to have a positive square root of 3. In the other one, I'm going to have an x, I'm going to have a negative 2, and I'm going to have a negative square root of 3. So if I go ahead and table all of this and just multiply, x times x is going to give me x squared. X times negative 2, I'm just going to go across, is going to be negative 2x, and then I'm going to have negative x times the square root of 3. Go into the next row. Negative 2 times x is going to give me negative 2x. Negative 2 and negative 2 is going to give me a positive 4. Negative 2 and a negative square root of 3 is going to give me a positive 2 times the square root of 3. Okay? The biggest thing here is don't get scared off with the square root of 3 because you'll see what's going to happen here in a second. Last part is going to be a positive x, and a positive square root of 3 is going to give me a positive x times the square root of 3. Negative 2 times the square root of 3 is going to give me a negative 2 times the square root of 3. And then negative square root of 3 times a positive square root of 3 is going to be what? A negative square root of 9, which is what? 3. Now, what do you notice? Let's excuse me. What do you notice that's going to happen right here and right here? They're going to cancel. What do you notice is going to happen right here and right here? It's going to cancel. Okay? The whole thing, remember, you haven't had any sort of quadratic or a cube or anything like that that has had a square root in it. Okay? So you're not going to have one now. So then all I'm going to do, combine my like terms. I can combine here, and then I can combine here. So what am I left with? I'm left with x squared minus 4x minus 3. Nope, 7, I'm sorry, or 1, excuse me. Just looked at the wrong one. Positive 1. Now, what do I do with that x squared minus 4x plus 1? What do I still need to multiply that with? The x minus 3 that I have right up here. Okay? It doesn't matter to me what you do if you go x minus 3 and you just do it that way, or if you, again, put it in a table and you do it that way, go for it. Okay? And if you go x squared minus 4x plus 1 and you go x minus 3 and we multiply everything and you get x to the third minus 4x squared plus 1x and go negative 3x squared plus 7x minus 3, and then you combine like terms, you do it there and you do it here, and you end up with x to the third minus 7x squared plus 8x minus 3. More power to you. Hey, if you want to distribute and you want to go, whoop, my fault, and you want to multiply everything and do it that way and combine, go there. I try to keep them in a table because I can keep everything kind of together. Okay, it's easier for me personally to put everything together and still not lose anything. Okay?